The rollout of decentralized finance on the XRP ledger and using the XRP token on adjacent networks like Flare, it's been a massive success. You see it in real time. It is taking off. And to me, this is the perfect timing because what's right around the corner is mass adoption of institutional DeFi. It's going to be orders of magnitude larger than anything that we've seen to date. But it's interesting. Institutions, they have specific legal and compliance requirements. They can't just use any system, but I believe the XRP ledger is set up to deliver to those specific needs of institutions. At the end of this video, I'm going to play a quick clip from the first episode of Three Big Waves, a new podcast from Crypto Eddie and myself. And I have to take this moment to thank I Trust Capital. You have to understand here, we didn't have any subscribers, no views, just a concept. I Trust Capital. They were there to support us from day one. Big thanks to them. And in this episode, we're talking about MXRP. We're talking about Flare, how this all fits together. If you like what you see from this clip, there'll be a link down below to Three Big Waves X profile. You can watch the whole episode there. I hope you check it out, and I hope you enjoy it. There'll be a lot more coming. And big thanks to I Trust Capital from being there from the ground up. On X, I posted this video. Really interesting. You have Chris Larsen, Stephen Thomas, and they were asked, we see what the internet has done with ideas and with data, but there's so much more regulations around money. That was the first thing they were talking about. And Stephen Thomas jumped up and said, that's what you think because you don't know what you're talking about. You grew up in a world where information just flowed and this was all free, but it wasn't always like that. There was a lot of restrictions on data and algorithms and things like this. And what happened, the internet era, of course, came up, and the US and the rest of the world started supporting this technology because you can't stop progress. So today we have this environment where you think it's so free and so, complimentary, but it wasn't always like that. And then what Chris Larsen said is, it's also, there's just more at stake here. He talked about, ideas, that can be dangerous, of course, but money funds and pays for danger. Essentially, the stakes are just much higher with, networks going over money. Really interesting. Check it out. But you could see from the early days, they understood what was in front of them, how to navigate around this issue, and how we were going to meet mass adoption and regulations. Really, really powerful clip. You'll see it there on X. This next one, John Deaton, he just gave us an update. For those of you that are in this Linqto bankruptcy, there's really two paths forward. One, I think there's going to be this bankruptcy estate that holds on to the investments for you. There'll be liquidation events where, let's say Ripple goes public. You can say, all right, cash me out, or any number of things, maybe a couple times a year. Or there's going to be a publicly traded, some sort of ETF setup that holds all this stuff that Linqto holds. And then you'll have some ownership portion of that. It'll trade on the open market, on a publicly traded market. And so you're voting right now. If you're in this, you can have a vote, see which way you want. Is it the best solution for everyone? No. But as John said, to fight for anything else, it just is burning through money. And Linqto is almost out of money. And if it continues, it's going to start bleeding into shareholder funds, and they'll have to liquidate shares of your investments to pay for it. And it's just not going to help anyone. So if this is approved, either, again, this trust that's going to hold your investments for you and give you liquidation events, or a publicly traded vehicle, whichever way they go, if they can really pull this to a closure quickly, it'll be, as he said, one of the most successful bankruptcy proceedings, in the modern era. Very fast, very efficient, making the best of a bad situation. Got to thank John for everything he is doing here. This is pro bono. He's stepping up there, representing, I think, 3,000 and change Linqto investors. They're making sure that your interests are at the forefront here during this process. Big thanks to John for everything he's doing. You can check out the recap of this on X, again, on John's X page. We just had another ETF. Now, again, this isn't one of the big ones, but still, it's an ETF. Cyber Hornet, they file pairing S&P 500 with XRP, Solana, and Ethereum. A little bit different take. I don't know about this pairing. Does this make sense? Does a crypto investor want S&P 500 paired with this stuff? People are going to try a lot of different things. I'm excited for the day when we get like DeFi and I can invest in the DeFi sector in one fund, or, maybe payment coins or layer one smart contract coins or staking coins. Like, we're going to get some really good, I think, ETFs in the future. But right now, look, there'll be some demand. This is a spot ETF, so you'll see some XRP Sol and Ethereum added in there with this. People will try different things. We'll see how it plays out. But, the heavy hitters are on their way. XRP ETF decision October 18th. The SEC rules on Grayscale's XRP ETF next Friday. So, I don't think they can kick the can down the road any longer. We will see what happens. I expect this to be approved. And you can see there's a whole mess of them. You have Grayscale, 21 shares, Bitwise, Canary Capital, WisdomTree, Franklin, CoinShares. And I don't know how this will play out, but I think what will happen is if they approve Grayscale on the 18th, they're going to approve them all. I doubt they're going to give Grayscale a head start here. They'll let everyone kind of at the same time. A lot of action happening in October, so get ready for that. This should be, October, as they call it traditionally in this market. September is traditionally bad, and it kind of played out like that. So hopefully we get this October with a lot of drivers of value on the horizon for XRP. Talking about FXRP, we had that cap. It hit in 4 hours, just 5 million. They did this for security reasons to, audit everything, make sure it's going well. And you can see how it's going to increase pretty quickly to 10 million, 20 million, all the way up to 70 million. By late October, around October 29th, the FXRP cap on Flare will reach 70 million per Hugo, provided we don't run into any issue. So scaling very quickly, good to see. I'm glad they're being safe of it. The last thing we need is a catastrophic failure here with F assets. They've took their time to make sure this is done right, and now they have a really controlled rollout. So that's exciting to see here. Hugo, again, was on Thinking Crypto. Check this out. But you see Hugo, co-founder of Flare Networks, highlights the new opportunities for XRP holders. He says that to him and his idea, it's not just about what you can do on Flare, but this is the biggest opportunity to use XRP productively ever, anywhere, in any network. I want someone that's building a system like that to think big, to think like that, and that's exciting to see. Check out the full interview there. Digital asset investor saying RLUSD just pulls into the number 90th spot on CoinMarketCap. We see it in the top 100 now, making its way up the list. I'm sure it will go much, much higher. And this is exciting because Ripple, let's be honest, they could sell XRP or trade it into RLUSD, and they could probably put it in the top 10 if they wanted to. This is organic. This is actually from real-world use, real demand, and it's making its way up the charts. I expect that to go much higher than number 90, but still, no small task shortly after launch being in the top 100. It's a big deal. Make sure you understand that. CryptoRooter put this out. I thought this was interesting. Strobe Finance. This is using the EVM sidechain. This is a lending protocol, so you could put your XRP up here, borrow stablecoins against it, things of this nature. Not for everyone, but just the fact that this stuff is now starting to roll out, leveraging the EVM sidechain and the capabilities of the XRP ledger. There's going to be a lot of people that use this type of functionality. Last bull run, when we ran into that buzzsaw, I used Nexo for this purpose. I was borrowing against some, not all of my XRP, but I put some on there, was earning off of it. Also borrowed against it to make some different trades and moves during that bull run, trying to make up for some lost time, and did pretty well. Again, there's going to be people that really like these types of systems. And Strobe Finance, that's the newest one. There's going to be more. There's a lot of real building happening now. Flare community put this out just for clarification, as it's coming up often. Impairment loss is something you're exposed to when you are using decentralized exchanges, DEX, AMMs, and that's not the case here with FXRP. So when you mint FXRP, you are not open to impairment loss. That's for when you are using, again, AMMs, things of this nature, not from minting FXRP. So we wanted to clear that up. Thought it was a good post. I put this up today. It was blowing people's minds. They didn't know what to say. What altcoin do you prefer, FLR or XRP? You don't have to prefer either of them. I think they're both great coins, will make great investments, and they're both complementary. But if you had to pick one or the other, post down below. I want to see what you had to say. It had a pretty interesting, split between FLR and XRP on X, but YouTube always has something quite different here. Let me know what you think. Now, Uphold put this up, XRP report for the week, and we see this in many different charts, graphs, reports. Whales are accumulating despite volatility. The price is going down. Whales are taking advantage of this situation because they know what's going to happen here. Follow the big money. Follow the money that knows what's up. I think October is going to be where we see it happen. We see ChadCrypto.com today announced that it has received approval from the U.S. Commodities Futures Trading Commission, CFTC, for derivatives licensure in the United States for margin derivatives. So you continue to see this convergence of traditional finance, blockchain, and you have brokerage type services, you have crypto exchanges, and they're all kind of merging together into one conglomerate of finance, and we're going to continue to see that happen. Lastly, we had the president tweet this out, that you are fired. I still say that he's not going to be fired. Doesn't make a lot of sense. You don't have much time. He's only going to be in the job till I think March of next year. I think he's just trying to put pressure on the chair to bring down interest rates. I don't think he has to pressure him, though. It's just going to happen. They have that dual mandate. The jobs market's looking shaky. They're going to have to defend that. Inflation numbers, of course, are high. They're going to stay high. There's just nothing we're going to be able to do about that. But you have to defend the job market, because we're going to be in a whole world of hurt if that thing tumbles. And when they start loosening financial conditions, perfect time for crypto to go on a good growth phase. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and play that clip. 3 big waves, Crypto Eddie, myself. I hope you enjoy it. And if you do, head over to X, give us a follow over on the X page, and check out the full episode. Talk to you again here soon. And I think this is a great first episode to explore the launch of MXRP. To me, the more DeFi we get up and running on the XRP ledger, putting XRP in motion is going to be good for the whole chain.
Yeah, so they have different products in their website now. If you look, I think there's 14 different products that you can get into. And what I found interesting is one of them even has 11% allocated to the digital asset Flare. So they see Flare out of Flare Networks as an asset that is of interest for the user base of Midas to actually receive some yield. And so that was most surprising for me. And I think that Yurios was saying that if they have a chance to work with anyone in the space that brings value back to that MXRP holder, they're open to working with anybody and working with any asset. So that is a quite different approach. And also too, with the asset managers, I think we're going to see a big change in the very near future with AI. Hundreds of PhDs are paid to find those trends and seek out those best yields, those quantitative analysis that are done by the quant traders. That is completely going to change here soon, and going to, I think, be put into a new category of super AI assisting those brains. I think we're going to see higher yields come out of that, finding the best opportunities, which right now are quite complex, hard to find, and maybe fleeting too. Maybe sometimes they're there for a short period of time and it's missed, because those asset managers are constantly moving them around, and having the assistance of AI makes it very powerful. I'd love to hear what you think about that.